is beating, it's magical, the music's playing, losing control, the things I'm feeling, so mystical, oh, the rhythm goes, and I can't feel the heat, and I keep moving to the beat, 'cause I'm letting go, gotta let them know, losing all control on the dance floor. We don't care, we're dancing all night long. We don't care, we're dancing all night long. We don't care, we're dancing all night long. My heart is beating, it's magical, the music's playing, losing control, the things I'm feeling, so mystical, oh, the rhythm goes, and I can't feel the heat, and I keep moving to the beat, 'cause I'm letting go, gotta let them know, losing all control on the dance floor. We don't care, we're dancing all night long. We don't care, we're dancing all night long. We don't care, we're dancing all night long. Dancing all night long. 'Cause I'm letting go, gotta let them know, losing all control on the dance floor. We don't care, we're dancing all night long.
Holding on to what I know, to everything I've learned, what is real and fabricated. What is wrong? What is my problem? How can I get out of this world that I created? Fighting the storms in my head, don't know where I have been. I'm alone, no one to turn to, no one understands. This shit's too complicated. Away, and I feel like I am someone else. Away, and I feel like I don't know myself, no. Away, and I feel like I don't know my name. And I don't want to live this way. I don't wanna keep on wasting a life. I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing the mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless.
Unknown Brain, Marvin Divine, and we back.
Can't nobody tell me nothing. Made it through the rain and rain, I turned nothing into something. No more dealing with their assumptions, 'cause I do what I gotta do and I know, can't nobody do it like me. All they do is judge me for who I might be. Maybe if they took some time to pick my mind, to see that I'm cooler than lemons and iced tea. All I wanna do is live it up with the
wanna keep on wasting a life.
Yeah.
I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing my mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless.
So faceless. She burns the bridges in my head by lighting up a fire. Bury my old thoughts instead so you could feel the same. I lay alone with you inside my mind. We would dance the night away to the morning light. Can I give you all of my love till we dance the night away? Can I give you all of my love till we dance the night away? And we give you all my love, all my love, all my love. And we give you all my love, all my love, all my love. Yeah, yeah. And we give you. Good in the morning light, reflections in my mind. Missing the fights, I don't care if I'm right. Let's just buy a bit more time. I live alone with you inside my mind. We would dance the night away till the morning light. Can I give you all of my love till we dance the night away? Can I give you all of my love till we dance the night away? And we give you all my love, all my love, all my love. And we give you all my love, all my love, all my love. Yeah, yeah. And we give you.
Hello, and welcome back to Frankenmuth. This is our December corn harvest with our John Deere 9610. the 843 header, our Horsch Titan, and our John Deere 4955 is the main line, or the first defense, if you will, first stringers. So let's get on with it, shall we? It's 10:27. The day is burning. Oh. All right. So, single man harvest. Basically the best kind of harvest to have here, in my opinion. We are cutting down the corn. We've got some already in the dryer here. That's how we ended the last stream, was getting some corn to the corn dryer. As you can see, we're starting the next stream by getting back into the field here. So I'm going to take control of the combine for a while. We may get a farmhand on this so I can run some grain cart. But for now, this is the way that we're doing this. Weather looks a little cloudy today, but we're not supposed to get any snow. Following day, however, it is looking like snow, and I'm not sure how well this combine handles that. So we're going to try to get as much of this done as physically possible before the snow comes in. Covers the ground. Obviously, we don't have tracks on this, but we are running dual tires on this 9610, so that should help us clear the corn out pretty well. Nothing new to really report. The dairy's doing fairly well. The beef cattle are also doing fairly well. Got a new tractor, of course, if you didn't see the last stream. We got a Kubota M8 on demo for this season. So we'll be running that on our snowblower. See if we can't, really just can't enjoy ourselves with that. This is part of the reason that I wanted to do this portion of driving here, is just getting around our neighbor's yard. They said it's okay if the combine rolls over it. They're not terribly worried. We wouldn't be able to get anywhere near the well or the septic tank. You know, there are weight concerns when you get near a ground with the septic tank on it. In this case, none of those concerns are here because none of that stuff is on the outer edge. So we don't have to excuse me, we don't have to worry about rolling over any of that. So if we do have to roll up on the yard a little, it won't be an issue. I do just want to cut a path through to the other side of the field here where there's a drainage ditch. I should probably do this slot of land right here next, just so that we have a clear cut. You can see from our yield map, we are yielding quite high. This is the first crop. This is technically our second harvest season, but this is the first time that we've seen through to the crop from beginning to end. And as you can see, there's good ground for corn here. That's critically important for the following season. We may decide to replant corn and use full harvest. We are looking at making upgrades to our equipment as of spring, so stay tuned for that because we will make an episode on it. And I have been approached by a company to possibly log off some woodlots that are directly associated with our sawmill to cut off some woodlots. So we might have some winter logging to do as well. Got to keep busy during the winter. Of course, we have the greenhouses. Those still function during the winter just fine. They generate enough heat. We're able to grow strawberries all year round in those greenhouses. And there are talks about even renovations to that and building a bigger complex of storage buildings as well as greenhouses. Stay tuned. There may be more improvements to come there. But for now, we are just harvesting this corn. These corn crops are coming through ridiculously well. Don't want to put the combine down in the drainage ditch. Tile drains go out to all of these things, and we we don't want to mess that up, and these fields do drain off fairly well. I haven't had to worry too much about equipment weight. Of course, I'm not driving the biggest, newest pieces either. I think we're gonna park this. I'm gonna come down into a low portion here where the ditch just drains off into a drainage. I'm lucky enough that hasn't pooled up or caused a big muck hole. Sometimes when you get into those, it creates a lot of muck, but even with the rain that we recently had, things have remained fairly dry on the field, and that's kind of the way we want to see it. So there are plans to improve the dairy quite a lot, so we have plans to improve other sections as well, but looks like our farming co-op that's really kind of coming into its own is moving past just the sugar beet production co-ops, and they're moving to other things as well. So we are going to be keeping an eye on that, because there is a chance that biodiesel and ethanol may be making a move into the area. And like I said, doing some work for the local sawmill as well as on the possibility of plans for the winter. There's a couple woodlots around. Alright, let's get this sucker turned around. Put the pipe out here so we don't collide with the tree. This will give us a nice clear spot. Forgive me, I'm not gonna walk around forever. Here we go. It's probably going the other way. 4955 is on call today. This is by far one of the better grain hauling setups I have. And we enjoy it. We're just doing kind of small time stuff at the moment. We're not trying to expand into arables too quickly. But our tractor garage may become smaller depending on what we can get from some of these tractors and what we need other tractors for. We're trying to consolidate, and we're getting ready to do so. Neighbor said he did not care about the shrubs. So just go ahead. He says they're pretty durable. They normally handle all sorts of things. We're just going to stay in the grain cart this time around. I'd rather back the tractor up and keep it on the lawn. He said we can use that. We're gonna go ahead and take advantage of that use. I had to see some wear and tear, some chipping off the paint. She's in good shape though. I may decide to repaint her and keep her. That's a rather expensive process though. Not really sure what we're gonna do just yet. We like these old machines, but obviously if we continue to expand, the local farmers co-op recently got involved with, vegetarian options for stores as the demand goes up. We can produce quite a soybean crop here. So of course next year we're going to be rotating soybean into most of this anyway. But we may buy a claim in the new factory that they have that they're setting up currently. So that when we pull the soybeans off the field next fall, we'll be storing them in bins. And, we are looking for an actual bin site that rivals the site we're already based off of. We're right near the grain mill and everything like that. We may give it a facelift, and that may be the extent of it. But our farmers co-op has been kind enough to give us space for a decent price when we moved in last year, and we helped fund the building of several of the production factories in the area to bring more industry to Frankenmuth. That's kind of the basis as we move in here. next year's third harvest season, and we want to have a few different pieces of machinery lined up, and we want to be rolling into our own crops. So hopefully between selling off our equipment here, selling off some of the older equipment, and selling off the dried corn that we're making, hopefully that'll be enough to propel us into a future deal and be able to provide more funds for the area and be able to invest in more, because we have invested in quite a lot already. A lot of those crops will come due for sale in the middle of winter, which is perfect timing for us, honestly. We can get rid of the crops we don't need. And then as far as the logging goes, like I said, it's not a definite, but it would certainly keep us busy for the winter months. And there is the logging company that they use, or the sawmill that's in the area actually has its own equipment, and we would actually be just using theirs. Luckily for us, it's a John Deere dealership, and just kind of keeping that available and open for ideas. This corn harvest, this is yielding a little better than we thought it was going to. I honestly didn't see this coming to a very fruitful endeavor. Obviously, we had 4 million liters, or 4.8 million liters of silage from our forage harvester this year. We are actually considering buckling down and selling off the forage harvester and getting ourselves set up with a different route as far as collecting chaff goes. But we'll have to see how that goes. Obviously, we've got a large amount of silage. Large amount of it anyway. Haven't checked on the fermenting process. We don't want to crack that open just yet. We do have silos that are available, but if we don't have to produce anything but a little hay and some straw for the next season, that will leave us available for things like corn and soybean. Just gotta kinda come at this in straight lines, so we're going down the row. Luckily, given the setup around here, we can easily kind of cut through. Planters and seeders will be the next serious buy in the spring. That's a must-have for next spring, so we'll see. We'll see how the rest goes, but planters and seeders are for sure. Like the seeders we've got, we'll probably stick with them or something similar, but we don't actually have something that can plant corn in the ground. And even though the majority of what we'll be doing will probably be soybean, we still want to be some corn on the side. Luckily, if silage starts to degrade and we have a large amount of soybean in the ground, we can in fact chop that up for silage as well if we need to. I've done that in the past. It gives you a higher protein yield for the cattle, because now they have soy protein as well. That's all debatable. Just gonna be quiet for a little bit here and let you guys enjoy the harvester itself. is that section of the field done. I'm going to just offload this on, and then we're going to do the headlands for the rest of this field. Making good time. Making very good time. Probably going to keep it to one field one day, one field to another. Just gonna work with the daylight we have, and then call it quits as we get into the other daylight. This is a winter crop. We don't want to push ourselves too hard. Not sure. Let's actually bring up the forecast, and then the save screen at the same time. All right, let's bring up the forecast today. So today is supposed to remain cloudy, single digits. Looks like we only have until... Okay. Everybody, forgive me. There's something I've been meaning to do. Well, some interesting stuff on sale. It's been something I've been meaning to do. Yes, this is how much corn we have left to go today. Alright, let us go to tools. And let's get ourselves RTK. I like to put this like right up on the roof of the station. Alright, let's bring this back up. There we go. Okay, so at least until 11 o'clock tomorrow, there is not supposed to be any snow. So if we break into the field early, we might actually need the snow. Realize that's 10,000 off of my bank account. Alright. Let's try to get the headland done here. It's just going to be important to cut a line across the top and down the side here. To open this up the best we can. May not even be able to do this in passing. We're gonna at least try to get to the open field down the end there. Let's take a look at the field shape here. So yeah, luckily the upper part of this is plain out square. So we're gonna go down to the corner, get down, hopefully get to this secondary field. It's field 12 here. That way our grain cart can come in on either side of this field and have space to work. What I'm trying to do is keep the pipe out as much as possible. I do want to cut away from this drain. You can see there's quite a lot of water in there at the Fortunately, we don't have the means to get a mower that will work with this drainage just yet. Stay tuned for that. So we kind of have a small sliver. Actually, just gonna turn ourselves around. This is another one of our neighbors. Doesn't have an issue with us as long as we keep it to a minimum yard. So let's keep it at distance. You can see from the greens to dark greens. There are some light greens in the spectrum as well. See that yield is bringing in quite a lot. I'm surprised if we use up most of our space in here. It has enough room for 3 minutes. We have to support off-site once we get going, but as you can see, it's working out for the better right now. Like I said, we just want to basically get cut past here. Once we get cut past our second field, we can do better. But that is our second field. We're getting some lower yields at the top of this, but I think the soil spec will also change at the top of this. It may just not be soil that better. Let's shut down the harvester here. Let's take a look. So pH value and nitrogen values are all within acceptable reasons. There's no no weeds or anything growing in. We're able to take care of all of that. So, what we've got is we've just got a lower yielding section. Take a look at our map here. Our soil, where it lightens, is loamy sand. So loamy sand, we could probably expect that this large chunk will not supply us with as much as we'd like. See, our environmental score is going up there. That's always good. Getting a little distracted, sorry. We'll have plenty of time in the winter to figure out our next steps. We are, in fact, on the other side, so we're going to get a slight decrease on the loamy sand. As far as the corn goes, this is some solid numbers that it's putting. It will probably remain that way. So we're at the halfway mark as far as amounts go. I actually make the pass down here. If we can get to the other end of this, we're going to offload directly into the truck. Spare our cart having to come down. Spreading those corn cutting. Huh. Looks like my streaming service was interrupted, but it doesn't look like anybody had any issues on this side. Sorry, I'm gonna break character. It doesn't look like we had any hiccups. Well, I think we got lucky with that. Any hiccups going on. Alright, we're just gonna say that that hiccup was only in the computer. Looks like it was only one system that was having an issue. Everything else looks like it didn't get interrupted. So we'll keep going. I will say if I have any data or issues with the stream, we will probably continue to do things like harvest beyond. Just like if we are unable to complete the harvest today, you can expect us to go ahead and just finish the harvest off of the stream. I think a two-parter is about all I'm going to do on this particular map with this type of harvest. Obviously, like I said, there'll be some winter content for the winter portions this time around that I plan on using. I'm going to break character for a couple minutes and just kind of talk over the schedule and bring everybody else up to speed. So, of course, we are now in the middle of August. There are some big things coming in for Farming Simulator over the next couple of months. So I do want to talk about that a little while we're doing the corn harvest today. And it's something that I've been wanting to talk to people about but we haven't gotten started. So my schedule, of course, has me working at least 40 hours a week. My wife was recently applied for a job and got the job. So she'll be working at least part to full time once she gets completely into the schedule. That starts next week. So streaming will become more sporadic as I have to watch my kid more and won't be able to get as much done on the stream maps ahead of time. I don't actually have any farm sim maps that I'm playing independently of these that I'm not streaming on. So that is something to remain aware of, is that any work I put in ahead of time, I'm doing on my spare time. Not that this isn't my spare time, but I'm being graced enough to have the ability to play this. It could mean that the schedule is more sporadic. It could also mean that it'll be later in the evenings with all future streams once my kid goes to bed, which means Wednesdays will be eliminated. If I go to a late night sort of scenario, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a stream late in the evening on Saturday and then another one Sunday morning before things really get going. Between my work and my wife's work and child care, it's going to be critically important that we kind of push ourselves to the limit and get ourselves set up and going properly. It's just the way that this is going. It's just the way that it's going to go for now. And at the same time, obviously Farm Sim has got some exciting stuff coming out, like the Vermeer pack, and pumps and hoses will be coming out soon as well if you're interested in fertilization systems using umbilical hoses versus the big slurry tankers that we have. Stay tuned. I will definitely be doing a little bit of that in my spare time. Not sure if I'm going to have it. We might even try to set it up on this map just simply because we have the slurry. And we will have the fields that will need to be fertilized now that we're beyond, we're getting beyond harvest season. Oh, here we go. Just gonna give it a moment here. Still got streaming going on. Sorry, everybody. Trying to figure out what's going on here. May just be my internet. Yeah, and then of course the internet may get a little spotty too. Prices are going up on a lot of stuff. Obviously, I don't have donations coming in. Not that I'm looking for donations. Please don't take that as criticisms for anybody who's watching and just enjoying. This is just me kind of playing the game, and I have you along for the ride if you watch the stream. So, if you feel led to give, obviously, please take the time, give a donation. If you don't feel led or you don't have the money, like I don't have the money to donate to my favorite modders or anything like that right now. Obviously, you're not required to. I don't want people to think that. But that means that scheduling might be even a little more sporadic than it was before. And I know that's like a disheartening thing to say. If you're watching a streamer, you want them to have kind of a steady stream. So we're going to try to set something up for weekends for streaming. I don't want to completely dump you guys or have you guys go weeks on end. With that being said, at the same time, we are closely starting to approach winter. And if you live in a state like I do, I live here in the northeast corner, even though last week we saw upper 90s and lower 100s, and we even saw some of that this week before we finally started getting our cool down. But even with that being said, when we have that situation come up where there are instances of things like that coming up, we have to start thinking of winter. And I know it sounds a little early. For some people, it's going to be a little early, but things like oil changes and parts being replaced on snow blowers and things like that will start to become a normal occurrence as I move forward, which means any of my free time that I might have might even be occupied with. So there are quite a few reasons that a lot of my schedule will probably go to evenings, late nights. When I say late night, I'm talking like 8:30 Eastern time on. I'm not going to try to do anything too crazy, but at the same time, the other thing to keep in mind is I've been on a diet of sorts. I'm attempting to lose some actual weight. Unfortunately, COVID kind of knocked back a lot of my weight loss and momentum, and I'm getting back on the horse as of a couple of weeks ago. So things like soda, extra caffeine, energy drinks were all things that I was, all things that I was drinking on a regular basis, and now I haven't drank any of that sort of stuff going on for weeks. So my energy levels are better during the day, like today, for example. But at the same time, the energy levels that I would normally experience in the evening when I would be constantly consuming 1 or 2 items, 2 sodas, an energy drink, something like that. There was a lot of caffeine involved, so the streams could go a lot later depending on my energy. I don't have a whole lot of that energy late in the evenings anymore, so it may come down to a small cut in the length of the streams as well. Obviously, today is going to be a much larger one. I have some time that I'm able to do because I have a gap in childcare. I have a gap on my day off here in activities. I've done everything I needed to do earlier in the day. And it may come down to that's what happens is I just get up earlier and we end up having afternoon streams. It's hard to really tell. I don't always get the time running through the cornfields, and I don't always necessarily have all my time occupied either. So it will come down to in the end what we can do. But I just kind of wanted to give that announcement while we are talking about it. And then as far as the stream goes, every few weeks I do want to go back to the stream that we had, Coffee and Hay. I enjoy that segment, but it's going to be more of a podcast, kind of looking back on a couple of weeks of Farming Sim, while also the possibility of touring one of these maps. So stay tuned. There's a lot going on in my life, and I did want to bring a few people that watch this on the regular up to speed. So keep in mind, I will do what I can. If you weren't aware, I have recently started regular uploads to YouTube as well. So if you'd like to catch a stream on YouTube, it's the same handle name on YouTube as it is on Twitch here, LCDRAARON. I use that handle. That's my gamer tag as well. Keep in mind, my gamer tag and profile is private, so if you're playing on Xbox and you want to buddy up or do anything like that, keep in mind you are going to have to, you know, send me a friend request. I'll view your profile. If you want to send a message, you have to be friends with me on the platform. So keep in mind, I do check them over to make sure they're not robotically generated, but if you're interested in any co-op, whether it be on the computer, whether you're on the computer, PlayStation, or Xbox, just let me know. I'm more than happy to actually play the game. Keep in mind, I am gonna say this: if you're really young, you're not gonna be in a lobby with me unless you have a parent involved. I have had some really bad experiences with younger viewers that wanted to play Farm Sim, and they constantly wanted to play Farm Sim even though I use the Xbox for everything, and I've ended up having to block a couple of people on Xbox itself. So if you're of an age demographic that's younger, 10 and below, or between, like, obviously in what's considered a really young stage of your life, I am going to want an adult present in the lobby and playing the game. It puts a little more restrictions on there, but it keeps myself covered as well as you covered. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so anyway, I think that's it for announcements. We're just going to get back to the stream in general. Like I said, I want to try to do most of this corn harvest on stream. You never know how bad it's going to get cut off. It's 12:29 now. Unfortunately, we had a slight delay today in stream, just simply because of some computer updates that went through as soon as I turned my computer on today. So delayed it just a slight bit. We are looking good. This corn harvest is, like I said, this is the first harvest in our farm that's taken place where I've been the owner from beginning to end of the crop cycle. So the soil preparation, the planting, fertilizing, spreading herbicides, things of that nature have all been done by me on this field finally, and you can kind of see the yields are exactly where we expected them in that sandy loam. It's not great. It's not a great place for the corn. Root crops would probably sell really well here. But we're not into the crop. So 9610 is a fantastic John Deere combine. This is a good starter combine in my opinion. A little more hefty. Maybe the next step up. If you want newer equipment, T590 is a good option as well. Weather seems to be holding up fairly well today. Like I said, we're not expecting any of that snow for a while. When we get down, at least for a little bit, when we get down near these near this trailer that's hauling our corn over to the fryer, we're gonna just stop and go ahead and offload the hopper. It'll just make life a little easier. We don't have to worry about necessarily grain carting everything. Like I said, given the age of the equipment, we're gonna hold off on the other field till the following day. It looks like we've got more than enough time to for that. There we go. Moving out the space, we got 4,900. grain. So let's get the arm out of this thing. And it'll just be easy. We've got enough rows to go back and forth for a while. We can just kind of... You just kind of drain the hopper right out. It might slow us down a little, but it's also going to keep us from having to stop down at the other end. Fetch the grain cart wherever we are on the field here. A drainage ditch on this side of the field, which is nice. Not sure what happened there. Okay, no big deal. Let's roll on, shall we? This is excellent because this will open up right onto the edge of our farmyard. We only have the house area really kind of fenced off, which is better. Keeps us from having any problems. We don't have any gates on the fence. We want to be able to fit equipment down there if we can. Obviously, we have the other pathway. We may eliminate that center barn and just open up the yard a bit more. We'll have to see how this year goes. On track and out of the ditch. That's the only thing we really have to watch here today. As you can see, even for a small harvester, this is doing really well. As soon as the harvest season is over, of course, we'll go ahead and we'll get this this particular one in the shop. I know we've got 2. Probably not going to hold on to 2, honestly. I thought 2 would be needed. We didn't buy an extra corn head, and I didn't want to pick up like I didn't want to lease out another corn head to Berkman's. I am talking with the dealership about getting possibly some green system equipment here. It's a little different than straight up John Deere, but green system has corn headers and things of that nature. So we'll take a look at it and see if we can get some other fertilizing options in there as well. It's been kind of a disappointing thing for this particular dealership in town here is they haven't had much in regard to self-propelled. Obviously, we have a Case Titan on the farm. That's not something we would normally talk about having, but we do have a Case Titan, and the Case Titan is a big old beast that spreads our lime. But I'd like to see some more options from John Deere come through. Fortunately, we had to buy that used from our was the only option they had for self-propelled. And of course, we have the John Deere sprayer. That's a toe behind model. Did consider going to Kubota on some. Decided limit that to the M8 for now. There may be a need to jump to that equipment later, but unfortunately Kubota doesn't make things with large enough horsepower for us to really get the full experience. Which can be problematic, but you know, as you can see, we're doing very well with our John Deere equipment. That's, I think. Let's bring up some field data. Let's get our okay, so that's what we have left of field 21 today. Let's see how our yield map is going. The yield map, as you can see, is a lot more spectacular than last year. We've got some yielding differences throughout the fields here, but overall the hay field obviously did really well this year. As a matter of fact, both hay fields did okay. So there's a few things left to figure out. Obviously, we've up until this year we didn't have field 13. So the yielding on that one, we don't have any old yield data to go off of. That is the only field that so far has not been harvested. Let's get the pipe out there. Like I said, we just want to do this so you can see how full the bin is at the top, reservoir tank, whatever you want to call it. Pulling a lot of corn off the fields. You can see we're up above, we'll be up above 55,000 liters here. Yep. Probably even be above, yeah. We got 58,000 liters already in the truck here. See, we've got a teensy weensy little bit left. Tank. All right. Alright, here. Just trying to straighten out some of these rows and catch the outsides. So you can see we're just about full again. Now I could do this easily enough with the grain cart. Just the pipe's actually longer than I'm used to. I think there's a normal and then a longer pipe. And the one thing I try to always do when I have a harvester here is I always try to install the longer pipe so that I have less issues when I've got, you know, a bean head on there. Obviously the corn head is a bit narrower, it's a bit bulkier. Like I said, we're probably going to look into the green system brand with John Deere. They have some excellent bigger heads that'll work precisely for this. This isn't as small as like the Ziegler corn header that's out there with only like 3 rows. This is a smaller header. It'd be nice to be able to clear even more corn. Between all the products we've been saving up with, and products that we'll be pulling off this field, corn, I think it's safe to say that we'll probably have enough money between that and the sale of some of our older equipment. We'll probably have enough money to go ahead and purchase. Big ticket item, of course, is an upgraded combine. Probably try to sell both of our articulated tractors and get one of those as well. I don't know yet, though. I don't know. Got my eye on a John Deere 9R. That's really what I'd like to have. The combine, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what they've got available. Obviously, there's a lot of different options. T560s, for example. Kind of the same size, but it's newer. There are some other options out there as well. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning here. There are some other options as well. It's for harvesting. like I said, I'd like to have a bit of a wider system, something with a few more horses to handle bigger fields. And considering the bulk of what we'll be doing the next year or so will be soybeans, we definitely want to have a decent planter on hand as well as a decent bean harvester. So there'll be a few ones that we look at, obviously. Trying to figure out the best of our ability. Depending on the Kubota, we may actually decide to keep that and sell a couple of our other medium-sized tractors as well. Our dealership is primary John Deere, but obviously from the case and the Kubota stuff, we can get just about anything we want, within reason, I should say. Definitely have to see how that goes. Be nice. At the end of this trailer load, we'll have somewhere around 140,000 liters rolled off in this field of corn just in 2 trailers. That probably won't even come close to like the end of it, but obviously we're not going to pull a million or 2 million liters or anything like that off the field. Even fully fertilized, we're not going to do that. We're also going to have to plant some more wheat-style crops in spring. We do need to check over our one wheat field. Obviously, with cereal crops, it's an uphill battle, but we do need to check our wheat field here, field 29, and see if we need to eliminate weeds in there. Herbicide sprays will be the first thing we do in the spring if that is the case. Taking care of quite a bit of corn here. Might take us the whole month to actually harvest this, I don't know. Like I said, we don't have a header for the other one. Smart thing would be to run 2 of these and have me on grain cart duty, of course, or somebody on grain cart duty. But that would involve getting another corn header. That would involve hiring farm hands that you have to pay. And we're down to 60,000 in the account. Should shift over either starting this month or next. Let's give one more look here at our price scales. So December for wheat is the best. Canola, sorghum, soybeans are all over the place. Standard corn is the best in December, drops out in January, February. Milk will have some of the better prices for milk next month as well. Silage will peak in January. Grass and hay both peak in January. Straw peaks this month, but we won't be selling any of that. Flour peaks this month. And we do have some decent prices for flour, so probably make that a priority. Get this field done, we'll get in touch with some cells areas and get ourselves a truckload of that going over. We've got a 75,000 liters of that. So we can start recovering some of our negatives from the entire season right off the bat. To be perfectly honest with you, we'll probably leave it to the last possible day. Don't want to start losing. We do want to make sure that we're selling. We'll sell tomorrow, actually. Don't want to get too crazy with it. Give us a chance to produce a little more flour. Got plenty of corn left in this thing. Let's actually leave the pipe out. Let's get into our Mack truck here. Pavement here, we'll get this convoy moving right. Getting honked at pretty good too. There's 75,000 liters in there. So technically we've got 150,000 liters of corn already in the drying. Turn that pull in extra here. Pull it wide. We don't want to send any of the... Oh boy. Oh boy. It's my only gripe about those drainage ditches is just how much work it takes to get around those things. If somebody can pull those trailers more professionally than I can, all the more credit to you. course, we don't have a very wide driveway into here yet, although I will be seriously considering. Can only offload one at a time here, so that's what we're doing. Take a look here. 53,000 liters of dried corn already. Doesn't honestly look like the corn's really keeping up. Maybe I'm wrong though. Keep those dryers going. Those last two hoppers emptied. All right, so we are empty. Just gonna move this forward. Use this much larger space to turn around. I also want to check out one other thing while we're sitting here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so they have in fact fixed materials pack now, so it shouldn't be any problem whenever we decide to do it. So we've still got 400,000 liters of wheat grinding away there. You know, I'm wasting time. Need to get back to the fields. Get that combine running. Didn't want to take a minute to take a look at it. Alright, got that offloaded. Let's keep the harvest up, shall we? Gonna keep the harvest up at least either until it's done or 5 p.m. comes first. These older machines, we need to give them a little time to cool down and terms. Anybody ever seen like a combine on fire? you'll understand it's not a pretty picture. So obviously we don't want to burn the place down. Burn the combine down. Are doing a pretty decent job of cutting through this field. I know it slows things down a little to stop and offload in the truck, but it is going fairly well. Obviously, if I feel like I'm cutting it too close to the end, we'll just turn down the time. I'm not set on any strict time settings with any of my current streams. The survival one, I'm trying not to mess with, but the rest of them I'm not on any particular issue. Speaking of which, the second episode for the survival series, we should be streaming the second part of that sometime next week. Things with Frankenmuth will slow down for a couple of streams. I do have a little bit of something else planned as well. eyes open for that one. A couple other streams planned. And a couple other streams that I actually have stuff built for so far. So, things should go fairly well. This cornfield is massive, without a doubt. Time dilation, we're seeing, is something of a bit of a adjuster, so you can kind of make it feel like you're actually working more acreage than what you can, because that's the only thing that they can't get to translate too well into the game is the acreage. The game is solid, and there's a lot more stuff going on with the particle effects and everything this time around, so I'm not going to complain too much. I know that there are some massive improvements to the last game, which is just, you know, basically constant improvements from the previous games as well. Here in Frankenmuth, we're dragging corn. May or may not have winter work. That one's to be decided. Stock will drive me nuts. As you can see, we've cleared out a lot of corn here today. ×3 with 3-day months, by the way, is perfect ways. If you're doing productions, you will get a little annoyed at the rate at which they produce, but where you're supposed to be selling at different months where the prices kind of peak, it shouldn't really come as a surprise. think when you look at the maps here and you look at this, individual field size, I feel like this versus Stone Valley 19 is the one I can really attest to. I don't do anything on Stone Valley 22. Don't criticize me. I just don't enjoy the map like I did in the Farming Simulator 19 variation of it. But I have noticed that these fields, it seems like it takes a while to harvest these fields, whether it be the hay fields that we have, or whether it be the cornfields here. Anything that we're doing on a field seems to take a while because of the amount of acreage that comes with these. So the land itself is not that big a deal, but you literally have a very long cornfield. This is just an example of the cornfield here. 2 passes gets me over 10,000 liters of corn. That's 5,000 liters of corn per direction. And there's the 2 lower portions, which are like small fields themselves. This is just a lot to do. I don't know if I'll necessarily, if I decide to do corn again, if I'm upgrading the combine harvester. I'm not sure we're going to do corn in this manner again, where we wait till December. December is a good time because the ground's firm and the heat is down, so the machine is having an easier time running. But in reality, it's right up against the post. Maybe the ending portion of the harvest will come in December, but I don't think we're going to hold off and wait to do that. Obviously, a lot of the corn this year got chopped into silage. Given the amount of silage that we have over 5 million liters if you include the silage we ran out of that primary silo right there with the flag on the side of it. I don't think we'll continue to use those types of silos. We have some offers coming in from a company that can set up a couple of stave silos. And we're actually thinking of moving away from corn silage to a haylage variation. See, we don't want to get this in too full. We've got others to take advantage of. Drink while the combine's not here. Let's keep her going here. See, some of those lighter greens are extending out. Once you get past the sandy loam, it becomes easy to get some decent yields. And we're still getting decent yield from this crop as it is. So it's not like we're not, but definitely get the best stuff out of crops that don't have weeds. will be building and establishing fence lines for our cow pastures during the springtime. Some small tank homogenizers as well. It's another thing. Just kind of an expansion of the pasture system itself, so we can have Holstein actually out of the barn and kind of clear that out for the summer. We are still thinking about installing the field. This is bad. Not going to ignore this crop entirely. We're just not going to take in all of it now. We need to go a straight line. So what we're probably going to do is we'll deviate the straight line. It's my bad. I got off course there. Get through this, so we utilize the card actually get here. So the journey of self-improvement may be the biggest disqualifier for regular streaming. I don't know. I honestly, I know how full-time YouTubers do it. Basically, all their work ahead and just move off. But I don't know how people that are really good YouTubers streamers and YouTubers because, and I'm talking primarily about the ones that have jobs, not about the ones that do it full time. For those of you that do it full time and you're successful at it and you make lots of money, I don't know how you just. I'm not sure I could do this as a job, as a hobby, and as just kind of arms in here. I think it works out really well. I don't think it really would work out very well as a job for me. I stay pretty active, and maybe it would open up better venues for me to stay more active on yard work and this kind of thing. So maybe, excuse me, maybe in the end it would work. I've always thought about it as if I had this as a full-time thing, how would I go about my day? And it's like, well, I go about my day like a lot of those guys out there, and I would work in the early morning hours, get everything done, and then as far as other work goes, obviously housework done. Prep for winter done. I would work out great because I'd never have to travel from home. If I got sick, I could maybe have a couple of videos recorded. There's so many things that go through my mind, and I think there's so many things that go through the minds of regular people who are like myself on how much of an advantage it would be to just be a stand-up Twitch streamer. I don't know what I'd branch out into for other games. I'd have to keep it simulated, I think, for streams. But then if we were doing something like this, it's like I could clear an 8 to 10 hour block and be like, yeah, we're gonna do the whole corn harvest. You're gonna see the whole kit and caboodle, and I wouldn't have to worry about it because I'd be able to spend other days. You know, it's like tomorrow I go back to work, and then I work Friday. I have Saturday, Sunday off. But at that point, on Saturday, at least on Saturday, I will have a lot of outdoor things and some cleanup to do and just getting things kind of taken care of. We're not going to have, I don't have the advantage of having extra days. So instead of having multiple streams this week, obviously it's been something like 5 days since we've had a stream or something like that. So I'll be able to come in and, this is the shortest period of time in between the streams I've had since I started this whole, since I restarted my streams after FS22 finally restarted. Between COVID and starting work, obviously there was a lot of delays in there, and it made things extremely difficult to handle. So there were so many factors there, but it's like the diet that I'm on now has me slowly going away from things like sugar and carbs and soda. I dropped cold turkey. There's no way for me to dial down the use of either into it or I'm out of it. So there's that. There's the idea that, with my wife working, I'm gonna have to look after the little one by myself a lot more, and I won't have those times to really kind of open it up. And then there's the reality of working out, which is the next. It's actually one of the next stages in my plan is working out and taking my health very seriously is the idea. I'm going to be turning a ripe number, and this is the first year that my age is sinking in. So things like not doing activities when I was younger and not keeping myself healthy, it really kind of weighs on me, because 10 years ago, when I had really kind of started down on this path with my wife 12 years ago, I was a very active individual, even though I wasn't necessarily the healthiest. I lost a lot of weight that first 6 months we were together. So I'm trying to gauge what I need to do. And they tell you the older you are, the harder it is to lose the weight. So obviously kicking, things like the sugar temptation has been difficult. I don't like to live without my pastries. That's like my one big weakness. And obviously snacking on carbs all evening long, that's another weakness that I have. So we are trying to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and unfortunately it's been a depressing start. I got off of soda 4 weeks ago, and I dropped all the water weight. Soda makes you retain water. So I did manage to drop that, but my health is taking a priority. The last 2 years we've been sitting inside, dodging COVID and playing Farm Sim. Fortunately, Farm Sim is the best part of that, right? But dodging COVID has definitely been the other. And there's a lot of crud, and there's a lot of people out there that just have made the world a crazy place, so you want to be inside. But the next couple weeks I have some massive projects that I need to actually get done, and the only way to get those done is to go a little back on streaming. I know I don't put many streams out there, so it may not, it may, the projects over the next few weeks may not have any sort of effect on the streaming schedule at all. It seems like between 5 to 7 days, in a week is when you see the next stream come out. I can say my upload schedule on YouTube is a little more active. It's a little more active than it used to be. I need to complete my sentence. Because they're replays of the current streams that we're doing. So, for example, this stream will actually go up on that channel in the next day or so. I will probably actually upload it tonight, so I don't forget to do it. Although last time I did a string of uploads, this video wasn't actually available for the upload yet, so I had to skip through it and just kind of upload a few more. If you're interested in seeing some of the stuff that I've done on Frankenmuth, obviously take a look at it. It covers a wide range. Obviously, there are months and chunks between this and the last videos that I did prior to this harvest that are just not there, and that's because I don't necessarily show all the busy work. Obviously, we have a general work one out there where you can see some of the rock picking that we're doing. Obviously, I got a new rock picker. I wasn't satisfied with the current setup on that. And there's a few things that will go on. We'll try to, if I do decide to do convert over to more equipment, for example, I'll try to show the sale of the equipment. In the winter time, we've got some of the other crops that need to be sold. I'll pick a day in that month where you'll see some busy work and some crops sold. There's some quick streams that I can do in the evenings. But it's kind of a struggle. And looking back and kind of, I don't know, reflecting on the life that you led so far. I have a kid now. I'm happily married, but I do different things, and I take care of so many people that I never take the time to reflect on myself. And just in the last couple of years alone, the weight gain, for example, has been far beyond what I want it to be. So I have some goals to get to before the end of September, and that's what we're really kind of working on now. I'm hoping that everything goes okay. So, a little nervous about my future as an adult, because I feel like I've always gotten to the successful portions of my life rather late. It's like streaming. I don't know what I'd do, honestly, if I streamed and uploaded YouTube videos and they were popular. I'm not sure how I would handle that. Like I said, there are a few of you that, you watch the videos, you're really into it, and I really appreciate it, and I continue to stream for you because I know you enjoy it, or at least I hope you're enjoying it if you're coming back and doing it week after week. It feels odd to me that I have some steady people that watch it, and I'm sorry if my absences cause you any sort of frustrations on watching. Maybe that's why I don't consistently have people in, is I just don't have a consistent schedule. I spent several Saturday afternoons getting ready for streaming. Back when I started, it was kind of this heavy need to improve the system, and I had all of that going for me. learning the process. And it's like Lightstream has been an absolute godsend because I can do a lot of what can't be done for console players normally within the system. So I can get that done as well. So it does take a little to get used to this, but honestly, it's a piece of cake once you get going. But you know, that is me. I'm kind of deviating from the role play a little more. It's harder to keep subjects within one map while you're doing corn harvest. Obviously, I was hoping to be done with this field, period, today. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like it's going to take me the full month of December in game to get things finished, to get things done. That's not problematic because I'll finish what's here tomorrow, and then of course roll into the next field. But it feels a little odd to be running like this, I will say. I never expected to be doing this streaming on here. I never expected to enjoy Frankenmuth. And I have to be honest and say there have only been 2 maps that I've really enjoyed that are new to the franchise. I really enjoy Frankenmuth, obviously. And I've really enjoyed Calmsden Farm. Now, I didn't stream on Calmsden because I feel like that's the one map that everybody did the moment it came out because it did, in fact, have a lot more going for it than the other maps. It was the first real major, in my opinion, the first real major map. And by major map, I of course mean the first map that allowed things that weren't normal. You know, it was uniquely built. It had unique structures and barns. It had unique silage clamps. It had a unique slurry pit. There were all these things that were really unique. Frankenmuth doesn't necessarily offer a lot of unique structures, but they do offer a very unique map author. I do have to say, you know, I am highly impressed with this. I hope you do more American maps, because what happens is this is basic enough where it's not overwhelming, but it's also unique enough where it's not overwhelming, if that makes sense. Okay. It's this one. Okay. We're not burning a whole lot of fuel because we're idling here. We're going to take this cart in. We're going to dump that into the other trailer. We won't be coming right back into the fields tomorrow. We're actually going to take a small detour. We're going to do our first sales. You can see the light is diminishing quite rapidly. It is December. December would normally be a pretty chill month if I didn't have harvesting going on. In Frankenmuth, at least, it seems like December and the first portion of January are really kind of chill months. It may not be the case. I don't know how much programming water has put into weather. If we're gonna end up using all the months, we're gonna end up having a situation where we're gonna be combining it in snow. Yeah, I think we'll take the corn over in the morning. We'll leave the dual trailers. see about flour. I just want to double check the price of flour. That's close enough to full. I'm not gonna fret about it too much. Gotta get the spout in here, the auger spout. Shut that off and shut the lights off here. Okay, good. It let me. I was worried it wasn't going to let me close the tarp while the truck was off. I mean, it should in real life. It allows it, you know, because it's not run by the truck's engines. But hey, you never know. All right, so let's go ahead and get ourselves to bed. December 1st, 5 o'clock. Gonna go to 5 a.m. That's the earliest that you can do that. We want to try to, or I'm trying to at least increase the time here to get the flour sold. We've had some property. Coloring looks a little different in here this morning, but I'm not gonna fret that. All right. It's nice and quiet. First thing we're gonna do, of course, is we're gonna check animal pens. So let's see. Total mixed ration is at 12,000 there. There's 52,000 in hay, though. The Angus, well, the Angus can go. These Holsteins are fine. These ones are even. Yeah, these ones are fine as well. Okay. So the self-made cowshed is down to hay and grass. We'll see if the effectiveness or the productivity drops. Because if the productivity doesn't drop, then the only thing that we'll have to do a TMR mix for is going to end up being the actual dairy cows themselves. And if that doesn't drop, I'm still experimenting with things myself. If that doesn't, if productivity doesn't drop on the Angus, get the caution lights on here as we pull into the road. Don't want anybody having any issues seeing us coming. So we've got a well-lit farmyard. Costs us just about $1,600 a day. So it's a bit expensive. It's a bit on the expensive side. Honestly, it has to do with productions and all that other stuff. Silos, the grain mills, the corn dryer, for example. All of that cost me around $1,600 a day. Productions, which isn't bad when you consider how many thinking about opening the mouth of that up. Alright, so it dried actually everything. that's tipping now. Actually, I'm leaving this trailer. Wish the dryer had its own. Breaks my immersion a little bit. A harp on it. Okay. Start overloading there. Now our corn is the only thing going into these bins, so these bins are specifically set up to dry and store corn. Alright, let's go ahead, we'll detach the trailer. There. This going here. Got 75,000 liters of flour. We're gonna come over here and retrieve that now. Maybe just still one pallet, which is pallet. Pallet has 5,000 liters on it. Just shy of another pallet, but that's okay. 80,000 liters of wheat. We can only sell 50,000 at a time with the trailer we have. The storage and the trailer that the truck is attached to currently is Tana. She has been coming up with solutions for things like the problematic mail as well as pallet productions. So this warehouse here, that's this giant barn, can actually hold things like straw, it can hold things like hay and grass. So if you want to still bale, but you need storage that take away the bale count. Omatana's mod is probably the best one. Now there are some new ones. There's one that allows you to load up on so many bales make up one bale, so you can actually change what you've got going on. But, as you can see, this has got storage for all sorts of different things that they actually have available on the map. So even dried corn can be stored here. Feed, side. We got chocolate in there. We've got tomatoes, lettuce, green juice, all sorts of stuff that you can actually put here. Butter. There we go. So we're just going to fill this trailer up to capacity. And while that's going on, we're going to check the sales figures for flour. So, farm production barn, fast food restaurants, grocery store plastered, bakery takes it at the same rate as well. So we're actually, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drop it off the plastered store. Oops, that's not the turn out of here. This is the turn out. So let me just double check the time. So we're going on 4 p.m. Eastern time. I think what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to end it with the sale of the, we're going to end it today with the sale of this wheat. We're going to go back and we'll get the rest of it. so you can get a figure on the first crop that we sell in the year. I will have you on for every single crop that we have a sale day on. Obviously, I want you guys to see how much you make. I don't want to screenshot it and kind of flip it into a stream. I could technically do that, I guess, with work. So maybe I'll figure out how to do that. Let's go ahead, let's get the truck tucked in here. You can see productions are still throwing up some serious numbers. Offload 50,000 liters. And like I said, I'm gonna keep you around for the whole kit and caboodle here, so you can kind of see how much we actually make off of the whole 80,000 liters. And it's not bad. We're refilling the coffers. I mean, that's what we want to do. This store is going to always kind of offer us the best options, I think. We may change it up just to give you a better idea. I mean, I've got $40,000 after only 20,000 liters. So we're making some decent change. We should make 50,000. It should double it. So we should actually make 160,000 out of the flour. So we're going to have even more flour next year with that production plant pumping it out. But you can see, yeah, see this. This is giving us a hefty chunk. So we should just be around 160,000 there. And another 160,000. So we haven't been cheating money in. We've been working with what we have. Obviously, we've had to make some minor adjustments. It's zeroed itself out. So 103,400 plus 11,673 environmental score. Bringing that environmental score award up. Local municipalities have been really happy. Big towns like any towns really, or counties, will have environmental scientists assigned. Other than that, here in Frankenmuth, we have somebody that keeps an eye on the crops and how they're tended and how the fields are kept up, and what kind of work we're doing to use the best possible fields, crop retention, as well as stopping erosion. I will say, as kind of a side note to precision farming, I know if you look at the overall explanation under precision farming, oh my god, let me just turn the jig off so we can talk over the truck. But I know for me, the experience has been that even though precision farming will tell you negative for heavy tillage, such as tilling up ground with a plow, it will technically negative you points. It does not if the ground requires the actual plowing. So if you notice that the ground that you're on requires plowing, but you're afraid to do so because of precision farming penalizing, don't be afraid to do it. It doesn't actually penalize you for it. In fact, it credits you because the ground does need aeration from compaction, and that's what the heavy soil and even the light soil tillage will do. Alright, so we don't have any sugar in, so what we're actually going to do is we're going to have the plant we're going to activate. Let's activate cheese. Let's go ahead and deactivate the chocolate for now. Millman Dairy. It's our own personal dairy here. Like I said, co-op has been kind enough to sell us land on the cheap, and as a result, we hold the business together. They recently put together a different business park with different things. But this is the grain and milling park, as well as a place for farmers to make dairy. And it's distributed to local stores that they actually do business with. It's a little weird without the Jake brake. I actually like that Jake brake. But I want to be able to talk for the last few minutes. Now I will go ahead and handle the rest of the corn harvest at the beginning of the next video. We'll kind of do an update on how we did, how much propane we chewed through. Obviously, it's like 3,000 liters of propane so far for 140,000 liters of dried corn, which is phenomenal. And of course, I'll give you an update on how the flour stocks are doing. Obviously, we've got a pretty decent update for you here today. You're seeing us gather. This money will actually go towards the improvement of the farm equipment. Some of this will probably be used for general maintenance. But like I said, the next time we have major crop to sell, maybe we'll start doing short videos as well. But you can see we're making quite a hefty chunk. That's great, from 60,000 to over 200,000. Sell it off here at our own personal shop. We own this with the co-op as well. Gives us the best kind of prices. We own one of the two shops that are in this building. So that's something to behold. So we'll help sell some of this, but this will be distributed to other sales positions as well. 61,000, so 6,000. So that's well over 60. Alright, so we're just going to shut the truck off here because I'll come back for the truck and get the grain trailer. But let's get a breakdown of today's earnings, just so you can see that. Alright, so money-wise, we are actually in the positive today. Now, we've been in the negative for 2 days. You can see some of the positives that we have. Some of those bigger numbers are, yes, me doing some income adjustments. But anytime that you see income adjustments like that, that's me bringing in things like loans. So we don't have a loan balance. We have $242,000 after selling $171,000 worth of wheat today. So that's a big chunk of change. Miscellaneous, the 18,000 is the environmental score bonus we get. So technically 165,384 of that was just plain out. There's some negatives in here. That's to be expected. Construction costs. Yeah, that was building the RTK station. They're doing this by month. So that's the difference right there. Obviously, we've got some positives. And no contract income. We haven't done anything with contracts. We will probably shift over to contracts once we get better settled into the soybean. But we've got wheat flour sold. Let's just make sure there's nothing else. Obviously, we're not selling diesel. We're not selling the hay or the straw just yet. Those would be price fluctuations that we'd want to take advantage of right now. We don't have bread or cake. We do have some butter, but butter spikes more in September. I guess we'd sell it in January or February. Cheese would spike next month. We'll have a little bit of that to sell. Sugar we don't own. Honey we do have a small stock of, and it looks like that sells the highest in February. Sunflower oil, mostly the same, sells best in February, we don't have any of that. Let's find something we actually have. Strawberries. January strawberries. We have over 200,000 liters. We are going to clear that. I know that we make ice cream on the side, but we are actually going to clear that in January and sell the full 200,000 liters of that. Which, under the current prices, you can see it'll be good. Chocolate, we've got 15,000 liters of that. January is the best time for peak on chocolate, so we'll get rid of chocolate and strawberries in January. So you'll see us. We will definitely stream in January, or in the month of January. Manure, slurry. We don't have any digestate. We're not going to sell these sorts of things. Propane we won't sell. Dried corn peaks in January as well, so we may actually have the opportunity to sell our dried corn almost immediately. Cracked corn, the same idea. Corn meal looks like it sells best in April. Maple syrup sells the best in February. So you're guaranteed at least the month of January and the month of February going through one. There is a pellet producer on the map now, so we may see a little bit more of that. We don't really have any of these things. You can see I'm adding to it. Oh, yeah, one last thing to check over, of course, is strawberry ice cream. Strawberry ice cream sells the best in April. The current prices running tell you just what kind of boost we're going to get by selling in April if it's already in the 2,800 mark. So we could technically sell that, but we're going to let that keep building till April. So there'll be a few months to check off there. With that being said, though, we're going to go ahead and call it here. I'd like to thank all of you for jumping on, whether you watch it on stream, which I didn't have any conversations. I don't know if anybody was really here or not for that today. That's okay. It's a Wednesday afternoon. That sort of thing is going to happen on a Wednesday afternoon. But we're going to call it right here at the storefront. I'm going to get the corn harvest done. The next time you see us on Frankenmuth, we'll be taking care of January productions for sale and probably doing some snow blowing. I don't know. We'll see what kind of snow is on the ground and, if we catch it on a storm. And look at that. We've already got a few thousand liters more to put in, but we won't be putting productions away into the respective warehouses until tomorrow in game day. So thank you again so much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed the corn harvesting that you did get to see. As our equipment, of course, gets bigger and as we're able to take care of more acreage all at once, there'll be a little more of that going on. The soybean harvest next year, which is the crop that we have planned, you will see a lot more of the prep, the planting, and of course the harvest itself. So don't worry, you will get to see more of this process as we move further along and get bigger equipment. And that huge chunk of money we got for the flour today is going to go a long way to get there. So I'd just like to thank everybody for coming on, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming in.